Okay, so again, welcome everyone. Today, we will talk about a topic which we will take a couple of weeks. That means it will be a series. And we'll be talking about health. What is so different or important about health, we will see. Because some of the time we see that defining health is subjective. We define it different ways. Sometimes we are not able to recognize certain indications that is coming to us, and by the time you see and you acknowledge it, you may realize that, oh yeah, it was going on for a long time, but because we were not aware from the wisdom point of view, it takes a long time. So if we really start with the definition of health, so in 1948, when WHO defined it, it was simply stating that, okay, health does not mean absence of illness or absence of, any kind of disease, but it's a complete physical, mental, and social well-being. So they had these three elements, which was good, rather than people thinking, yes, I'm healthy. Why? Because I'm not sick. But that may not be a complete definition or complete way of looking at it. However, you can say pretty much 40 years later, they enhanced that definition. And in that enhancement, it's not just, that you don't have any issue and you can say I'm okay, but it is your physical and again mental and social, that capacity that we have, and are we really living our, you can say, whole life or not? One is that, okay, I'm there, but second is, am I able to deliver the optimum performance, what I could, and it could be physical performance or mental or social well-being, any of that element. So that was a good change in terms of, making people aware. And when we are looking at health, so we say, yes, for sure, there is, absence of any kind of disease, impairment, and it allows an individual to adequately cope up with whatever your day-to-day demand is. And again, it could be any of those elements: physical, mental, emotional. And this is the equilibrium between the person, his social and physical environment. And this is where sometimes, we differ, and we either stick to just the physical side, or if we see a lean person, we say, oh, the person is fit. That's the general perception, but that may not be true, because you are only looking at the physical side. You don't know the emotional side. You don't know there are other elements which we will see here. And that is one of the reasons that in US, if we really see that, if we see the data from CDC, so not just, any source, but the most reliable source, which is the Center for Disease Control, their healthcare is costing $3.5 trillion, which is 2017 data. So you can imagine now it's even much higher. And you can say either other European or nations or Canada, pretty much in the same bulk range. But the point is, when they compared US, they said you are spending so much money, yet you have a lower life expectancy than people in other developed countries. So why is it so? And this opens up a question on the definition of our understanding and how do we deal with it. So it's not a question of, oh, I'm in most of in the best of the healthcare environment, that means I'm healthy. True. So when we say health, there are 4 pillars. Sleep is the very critical, because sleep is when you recover from your day-to-day. It's like expense. You are spending energy, you are spending all the not just physical, emotional, and all those things that we go through, the emotions and work-wise and otherwise. Sometimes it could be weather, sometimes it could be traffic, or my colleagues, or at home, doesn't matter. All those ups and downs, you recover during your sleep. And it is one of the most underrated tools. In fact, this is the first thing people try to compromise. Oh, I'm having too much workload, so let me sleep less. Okay, for a day or two, it doesn't matter. Our body can very well cope up with that. Problem is when we do over and over. And as you do over and over, it becomes really an issue. And this is when, your weight gain, all kind of, impact on your physical body, mental body, all starts because you're not regaining. It's like battery. You have a rechargeable battery, fine, but if you don't recharge, it's of no use. Now, when we come to nutrition, it is not only what you eat, but also how frequently, how fast you eat. Are you chewing it or just gulping it? Everything with respect to that also come as part of nutrition. So it's not just, oh, I'm eating healthy, I'm eating all organic food. Good. But if you are eating too frequently, or you're not chewing it, because see, your digestion process starts in your mouth. Saliva has a very big role to play. And very briefly, what it does is it gives the signals to your colon, it gives a signal to your small and large intestine that, okay, this is coming. Advanced saliva, when it starts digesting food in your mouth, it knows, okay, it has fat, or it has your carbs or protein or whatever, and it gives signal that, okay, this is what is coming, prepare accordingly. So the body, whether it's stomach or intestine, they know, okay, what's coming. It's like, you have planned, you invite a lot of guests, no issue. You will have food ready, you will have sitting arrangement, entertainment, everything ready. But if all of a sudden 50 people shows up at your place, you will struggle. You are not prepared, you may be not in the right mental mood and all those things, and now you're struggling. Why? Because it was unexpected. So nutrition does not mean only what you eat. All these factors comes along with it. And of course, physical activity. Again, as I mentioned before, people look at a lean person, thin, physically, and say, wow, you are fit. May not be the case. But physical activity doesn't mean that whether you go to a gym or not, whether you go outside, to the park and do your jogging, running, whatever that may be. Physical activity also means small things. For example, in day-to-day, are you walking or mostly sitting? For everything, are you dependent, or you are doing, making an effort? Even in the office, there are many ways that you can still take 10 steps rather than sitting 6 hours, 4 hours, or whatever that is. Physical activities also include your activity within the house. Even cleaning the house could be an activity. So it's not like weather is bad or it's too cold or this. You can still make things in your own environment, in your own conditions, something that supports you. And fourth, but to me, the biggest factor really in this 4 pillars of health is connection. And this is where we are losing today. Connection is the most critical factor of the 4 Why? Because we are losing touch, the human touch. Before people used to write letters, people used to call each other more often. Now it's more digital, mostly text. And even worse now, mostly emojis, not even typing everything. So these things impact because you may say, okay, we are so advanced and all those things, but ultimately we are social animal. We need the society around us. You cannot just stay alone. Especially the youth, they are facing this problem more than anyone else. And then you may be in social media, so many likes or so many, people are commenting or what, but that doesn't mean you have so many friends around you or so many people that you can rely on, or you are having communication with those people. This connection is one of the biggest factor which is impacting our health. So now let's look at physical health. Physical, definition might be more focused on being able to live comfortably, do what you want in terms of, whether it is physical activity, nutrition, whether it's alcohol, drugs, means whether you are taking or you are kind of, uh, moderate level or not, you don't touch at all, whether you can take care of your basic medical needs, you rest and sleep properly. All those things are relatively easier to understand because when we say physical, it becomes easy. You can touch, you can feel, you can see it. The second part of the health is the mental health. And this is where still to date, people don't have the kind of acceptance or kind of understanding that you may want the society to have. So mental health includes your person's emotion, the social and psychological well-being. Physically, I may be fit, but I may be having an emotional breakdown, nervous breakdown. I'm fighting with everyone, my neighbors, my colleagues, everyone. But physically, I'm very fit. So these are two different topics altogether. They refer to health, and nowadays, mental health has become more critical than physical. If you want to achieve full optimum, from your life, from your physical body, then mental health is actually real key issue. Again, because a lot of thing related to it is based on perception, and perception, you can imagine that how it can vary. Physical, you can see if somebody is having pain or somebody is limping, you can see and you can feel for it, but mental health, you may not know. Sometimes we fight with colleagues. Fight means in the sense you are upset or you are arguing. You may have no idea what's going on with that person. In university or school, sometimes, people make fun of a student, if it's whatever, based on marks, based on performance, but you don't know what's happening with that kid because it's mental. You cannot see it. So mental health, yes, it refers to the ability to process information, because that's where, all those neurons and other things, the information, whether it is a connective tissue, all the signals are going, how you are able to process and deliver whatever that may be connected to. It all relates to your mental health. It reflects how clearly you can think and make the right decision. How you can cope up with stress and manage emotions. This is really, really critical out of all the elements of mental health. Why? Even if you talk to a youth, even in intermediate school, not even high school, you will find that everybody is saying mostly, oh, a lot of work, a lot of homework, or this or that, I'm stressed. So this is stress because of many, many different factors is increasing in the society. And this impacts our mental health. So easily, we are having issues right from the schooling, university time, issues with the relationships, to issues related to your own health, or your, you don't know how to help someone else if someone is having some issue. So good, again, mental health does not mean absence of depression, anxiety, and another disorder. And we say, yeah, this person, yeah, doesn't have depression, doesn't have this, so he or she is good. Just like physical health, absence of disease does not mean good health. It depends if a person is able to enjoy life. If you have a tough time, are you able to bounce back? Do you feel safe and secure? Can you balance different elements of your life, or you're just stuck in one? Studies means only studies. You have no idea what's happening in your friend circle. You have no idea what's happening around you. That means you are not achieving your full potential. You may see different kind of symptoms, and some of these symptoms overlap. So sometimes it's not easy to pinpoint that what the person may be going through, because feeling sad could be because of many things. But when the person is confused, not able to concentrate, not able to think clearly, excessive fear, and most of the time when you have feeling of guilt, shame, and all those trauma or any of such thing, it deeply impacts us. And that is difficult to judge or see. Extreme mood swing you can see easily. But if a person is punishing himself or herself because of some guilt or shame or any kind of trauma, you may not be able to know unless either the person share or somebody shares with you, oh, this happened, that happened. Because in this case, the person is just kind of withdrawing from all kind of friends, activities, social activities and all. So you are already in a problem, you keep getting into deeper and deeper issues. And people around you may not be able to judge or see that what's happening. That's why you see these days a lot of, we could just say mood disorder or anxiety disorder, eating disorder, personality disorder, autism. These are so common nowadays, because these are all symptoms or reflection of your mental disorders. Now let's come to the next level. So you see now from physical, when we went to mental, and now emotional, more critical. Why? Because emotional health heavily influencing your mental health. So what is emotional health? It's your capability to cope up and manage emotions. Now it sounds so simple. What's the big deal in it? You don't have to go to university to get a degree in handling emotion. But practically, if you think, it's even worse than that. Even if you have degrees, your PhD doesn't mean you can cope up with your emotions. People are sitting on such a tight, you can say, on the edge all the time. And again, the best example, drive on a highway. One person makes a mistake, knowingly or unknowingly, cut in front of you, or lane change, doesn't give indicator, and see how people react all around. Tolerance level, whether at workplace, within family, all around, neighbors, extremely low nowadays. Everybody is on the edge. Why? Because of a lot of, again, mental, emotional issues, and it impacts our ability to have positive relationships, because we are not forgiving people. You did this, immediately judgment is passed, because you yourself are in a great stress. So thinking versus expressing, this is key here when it comes to emotional health. Are you able to express what you feel, what you are going through, or not? Again, it may sound very simple, but people And I'm not talking even outside the family, I'm saying within the families, especially youth. Masters, don't think a child may not have emotional or mental issues. Talk to the child. You may think, oh, right now he or she is so young, 7 years, 10 years. You may have no idea what the child may have been going through. So all these things amplifies over time. You are thinking, you're not expressing anything. So what's happening is like a pressure cooker, right? You're building pressure, and one day, somewhere it's gonna explode. Simple mechanism what nature has given us. You think, you are not happy with it, express, get rid of it. But this simple mechanism, we are not able to follow. If you are not able to follow, means you are holding more and more inside. It becomes toxin. And when you accumulate toxins inside your body, there is only one outcome which we can pretty much guarantee, which is impacting your health. Again, just like mental, you will see here, a person may be eating too much, sleeping too much, not enjoying, even if the person is in the middle of the best friends, feeling totally helpless or hopeless, very frequent pain, headaches, all those kind of things. So it is the ability to talk with someone about your mental or emotional situation, because especially you have emotion, but you cannot express. Either you're not sure how others will take it, you're not sure whether people make fun of you, or whatever that is. It is so difficult nowadays, people cannot say no. And again, not all, most or some. Some people, in fact, say no very easily, but it's again the ratio, the percentage. How many of us feel content most of the time? We are always upset about something or the other. That means, doesn't matter, topic may be changing, but every day we are reflecting something that you're not happy with. And when you're not happy, you're not content, what it means? Negative energy. So what you're doing? You're holding negative energy. Different topic, but ultimately you're pouring negative energy whole day. And if you do not express, means you do not let go, it's not going anywhere by itself. That's the reason we do meditation. That's the reason we do pranayama. That's the reason we do yoga. Doesn't matter what you do, a combination or all of it, they help us in this, taking these toxins out from our body. That's why support network means your friends, family, everything is very important. You should have a good network. You should have good colleagues with whom you can talk. You should have good people around you in neighborhood, so that you can relax. Otherwise, you stay alert all the time, which is not good. Now we'll come to the fourth one, which is even much of greater importance, spiritual health. So you see, so far we were struggling that people may not have a good idea or good handle on the mental, emotional. Now, even a more difficult topic is spiritual health. Because spiritual health is connected to your purpose of life, soul plan, what we call it. It connects, the different dimensions and capabilities of we as a human, which we ourselves are not aware of. If someone asks you your capabilities, we will say in terms of something like, if I'm a sports person, I may talk in terms of that. If I'm, work, whatever my work is, I may talk in terms of that. Or business, then I'm talking in terms of that finance or, the markets and all those kind of perspective. But here we are talking about it as a human being. There is no, like we say, there is no usual manual for human body. And we keep saying that we have tremendous unlimited capabilities. But the question is, how do you define that? And how do you realize where you are as an individual? It creates, the spiritual health creates a balance between your physical, psychological, and social element of human life. And as we said before, we are social animal. We lose connection, we lose this element, we are losing pretty much everything in our life, which we don't realize sometimes. Spiritual health or spirituality does not mean we leave everything, go to Himalayas. No, spirituality experience connectivity with the divine, the wholeness. Divine means what? Wholeness reflects what? Some people may connect it to religion, to God, this. To me, it's just universe, energy. We are all bundle of energy. You may call that energy anything. But your God, your supreme or superpower, everything is inside you. All you have to do is connect with yourself. And one may wonder, so what's the big deal about it? But that's really not happening easily today, unless you make an effort. We are not connecting with ourselves, and we try to tell the whole world what to do, how to do. We can, preach everyone, yet we are not able to connect with ourselves. That is one of the reasons why our health is deteriorating. We are not connecting with ourselves. How do you do that? Again, simple three things. You do either yoga can do it, meditation, it can do it, or you do combination. This is the time when you are in touch with your energies, your inner self. Whether you do volunteer work, great way to connect with the energies. Volunteer, it is expected, but your thought process should also be with total selflessness. It gives you tremendous gratitude, tremendous positivity, because we human beings, not only as a social animal, but one fundamental nature is oneness. Oneness means we want to connect with everyone. We don't want to pull away from people. The way of society is today, or your lifestyle, or the situation around you may be pulling you away, but nature by itself wants to bring everyone together. Spending more time in nature, whether you go for a walk, follow your hobbies. Generally, that's the first thing we give up, but that is one thing which connects you with yourself. Because spirituality may mean different things or different definition, different understanding for different people. The question is how to get that inner peace, how to connect to yourself. So you may ask these 4 questions. What makes you feel most complete? You may ask, when do I feel most connected to the rest of the world? You may ask, where do I find the most, inner strength? Or what am I doing when I feel whole, oneness, completeness? That means you are just trying to understand yourself, looking inward. When you understand what it is that really makes you feel complete, when we say feeling of blissfulness, what is it? How do you define? Only you can define for yourself, not for others. Anything that really gives you a true, fulfillment. You know that, okay, this is what really connects me to myself. If I do this, I'm really happy. And we are not talking about the materialistic side. Spending time with the pet could be a good thing for you, or just helping someone else in particular way to society or others. That could, so it doesn't matter which way you feel, what you feel, ultimately the feeling is important, which gives you that, okay, this is for you, what works. It connects you to with yourself. Spiritual health is the dimension which really connects the first 3, the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the social part as well. And that's why this is of such extreme importance. This brings people together. It's like super glue, which brings all other elements in our life together. Unfortunately, this is not so much talked about, explained, clarified, whether in school or university or in our life. And we just think spirituality means, after retirement, or we think, oh, this is someone who wants to, like Buddhist monk, or people like those who just want to go the spiritual way, religious way. But it's not. It is, I may say, mandatory for every human. Because when you look health as a total overall, then you see that, okay, health will bring you wholeness, not separation. It will bring oneness. Where there was some distinction, means separation again. Health will bring you alive. That means you will be full of energy, bubbling, and you're just dancing all over the place. Because without health and oneness, there is no enjoyment in life. There is a fascinating overlap between the way you can say the medical science and the spiritual language defines health. It's coming closer and closer now, which used to be totally, non-overlapping kind of scenario before. So masters, this was session 1. We will continue looking into the other elements.
Sorry, you said the recording because I missed like 10 minutes off. So I'm like,